Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 146 of Constructive Criticism. Wait, wrong show.
Keeping it in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 146 of the Need to Nerd podcast. I am keeping it in. That is really funny. Sometimes it's a slip of tongue. I'm Heezy, and I'm joined by the bottom bard himself, Paddy B.
One of them. There's two bottom brothers.
But the bottom bard, baby. The bottom bard. So
I'm a bard, you're a bard. He's just one of the bards.
So, I gotta ask, was that the fullest show for you guys last night?
Yeah.
That was pretty full. It was like a full house.
Yeah. It was a good time.
Pretty good crowd. So what are we talking about, by the way, for the listeners?
Yeah, right. If you've been under a rock, or not listened to the previous podcast before this, which is very possible, this topic is really cool. I'm excited about it. I just wrapped up a local musical, Something Rotten. I played Nigel Bottom, who is a bard or a playwright in the time of Shakespeare in England, who's trying to find his way in the world. So
it was so good, dude.
Spencer came and saw it last night.
We were laughing like crazy, dude. You guys crushed it. Absolutely really crushed it.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for the awesome show. We're not going to be talking about Something Rotten today. No, there's really nothing rotten we're talking about today. Today we are talking about kind of our favorite ways to game. Gaming is a huge part of nerd culture, but there's kind of a lot of ways that you can game. You got board games, tabletop, TCGs, video games, gambling, fantasy sports. There's lots of ways to gamify your hobbies, or to have gaming be a hobby, and we want to talk about that today. Before we do, we want to give you a nerd fact of the week. Every week on the show, we try to come up with a fun nerd fact, and due to the nature of this one, I thought this one was really interesting. The first handheld game console was the Mattel Auto Race, released in 1976. It was a single game device, meaning it only played one game, and was the first of a line of handheld electronics by Mattel Electronics. Well, not the first handheld electronic game. That was Electro Tic-Tac-Toe in 1972. Auto Race is considered the first handheld game console. I don't know what defines a console in this.
Yeah, right?
What's the difference between Tic-Tac-Toe and Auto Race?
Yeah, it's weird because a handheld could be, right, like, where something like Connect 4, right, is like programmed on a little handheld device.
Yeah.
So, like, is that technically a console? Like, what? Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at that.
Yeah, I thought this one was fun. We'll get into handheld consoles in a little bit. Before we do, don't forget to check out the Discord. Check the show notes. Click the link. Join the fam. The Heezy Game Media Discord is available in the show notes. And then don't forget to share up the show. Share it with your friends. Share it with your enemies. Share it with your mom. Share it with your dad. Your mom was not at the show last night. I was looking forward to seeing her, Paddy B.
My mom?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They all came last night, or the night before last.
No, all right. Fair enough.
Yeah, Shelby had a event she bartended, and so it was just kind of all the family came the night before, and then I had a ton of friends.
What was funny is we get in the car. I said, "Hey, just so you know, Patty doesn't know we're coming," and she's like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, I wanted to surprise him." And she's like, "Does Shelby know?" I was like, "No, I wanted to surprise Patty."
Yeah, that certainly. I was pleasantly surprised when I saw you in the audience.
Yeah, I saw you see me, and I was like, "Dang it, he saw me." She's like, "How do you know?" I was like, "Because I could tell. He looked right at me."
It's like we're looking the opening thing. I know we said we're not talking about Something Rotten, but like the opening thing is like we're all standing behind this big like cloth thing that they do a drop, and we're all like looking out of the audience. So like just like right in my line of sight view.
Yeah, it was
There's
very quick.
Heezy himself.
Yeah. Too funny. Too funny. Let's go on to the ways we game. And I kind of touched on this a second ago, but I want to talk about like how we're defining gaming here, because this topic might be really easy to do, like how we prefer to game video game wise, but I wanted to kind of go bigger than that and talk about board games, tabletops, TCGs, video games. We play fantasy sports. Shout out to Pacers fans for the tragedy that just happened to them 10 minutes before we jumped on, with Tyrese Halliburton probably tearing his Achilles, at 5 minutes into the finals.
In game set. Oh shoot! Oh no! Yeah, I was not watching that tonight.
Yeah, I was driving to record this podcast, listening to it on the radio, and It was somber.
Yeah, I mean Oklahoma City's a better team, but like it has.
They were losing when it happened.
Wow. Okay.
So I mean, obviously that's a long game, but
yeah.
But no, we play fantasy sports. We get into sports like that, and I think that defining the type of games that you like to enjoy, and then talk about what gaming means to us, and then talking about how do we do it today is kind of how we're gonna go. And I'll start with you, Patty. When did you start gaming, and what did you consider a game?
Yeah, so it's kind of ironic that my brother is in town this week, because I have some really vivid memories playing his Super Nintendo, specifically Super Mario World and Street Fighter 2. And along with that, my family was a big, and I think there's kind of a reason that there's a lot of game stores in our state is like board games is a big part of the culture of our state. I would say, like, a lot of people play board games, card games, with their families. So I remember things like Phase 10, Skip-Bo, Settlers of Catan.
Did you ever play the Phase 10 dice game?
Yes.
That one was good.
Yeah, that was so frustrating.
Get him rolling dice young.
Because dice, yeah. I think we had that where we had like lost the cards, but we found the dice game at like a whatever, but not the regular game. So I was like, all right, I guess we'll try this.
That's awesome. So like, I think we did a bonus podcast like 2 years ago on Super Mario World. Like we were talking about like games that I think that it was like just you at my house doing a bonus episode, and we talked a lot about that experience of you playing Super Mario World and how it was one of my first things. And video games for me, I literally don't remember a time where I wasn't trying to play them. I remember the Christmas. So I'm like 5. I'm the older middle child, and I'm 5 years older than my younger brother, and almost a little bit over 6 years older than my younger twin brothers that we have in the family. So there was like quite a while where I was the youngest. And the thing is like I don't know that I mean I remember a time before we had video games, but like I don't remember the NES entering the house. I remember the Super NES entering the house. But like video games were just part of Christmas for like our family for years. And like we had Duck Hunt on the TV. We had I think the one that I probably played the most, like that I was never any good at, that I would die and hand the controller over to my older siblings, was just Super Mario. Like I would beat that first level, and it took me till I was 7 or 8 before I was getting getting past the first or second level on that game. But that would start to be young. That was the thing that my siblings are doing, and so I did it with them. It was really fun.
Yeah, I connect and resonate with what you said about like just playing video games whenever you could, because like after that Super Nintendo, like my parents, I didn't have a console until I was like middle middle school, high school. Um, so like it was very, you know, like memories of going over to my friends' places and like making those trips down to um Hollywood Video, um to play games on other people's systems.
Yeah, we were like a Nintendo family uh, until my brother got an Xbox at the time of GameCube, and then we
Hmm.
went back to Nintendo for the Wii. I think I've told that on this podcast before. So like I always had whatever it was for Christmas. Um, we did get we always had a console or two in the house and stuff like that. I actually think I have my childhood 64 in my car.
Oh, cool.
I bought it from my mom years ago. And that's kind of like the video game side of things. My family played so many card games specifically.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, if you could play it with cards, we were playing it. Phase 10, Rook, War. Man, we played so much War. Uh, Go Fish. The funny thing is that we had face cards banned in our house because I grew up Mormon, and like they didn't like there was like this I don't remember the phrase my parents said, but like avoid the very appearance of evil and gambling. So we would play with Rook cards.
Uh, okay.
Uh,
Sure.
so like when we played Hearts, we played with Rook cards. So I had to learn how to play Hearts with Rook cards.
Oh man, just having its own system where like the
I mean,
cards are not
it's the
telling
same.
you what it
It's
is.
technically the same game,
Yeah,
but
it's yeah.
yeah,
Just having to memorize a whole other way of like representing things is. I imagine there was a fair amount of arguments on what represented what.
oh no, it's just 1 to 14,
No,
right?
okay,
So, or 1 to 15. I don't know, whatever it is.
sure.
Uh, yeah. So like tons of like card gaming. Um, we always had whatever the new version of Uno was, for example. And like we played board
Mm,
games, but our family was so big, it was like harder to play board games when your family gets as big as my family got. Like there's just not
sure.
a ton of 8-player board games you can do quickly like you can with card games.
Yeah, I
So
I was a nice size for that with just like my parents, myself, and my sister.
yeah,
Right, like 4 is just perfect.
yeah. So like we played like a lot of Scum stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, like I think that when I really started gaming, it was probably when I got my Game Boy Color. I was 9 or 10 years old. It was before I was 10. I don't know, 7 or 8, maybe 7, 8, or 9, somewhere in there. I don't know when did the Game Boy Color come out? Was it like 98?
Uh, s- yeah, I think like 98 or 99. Game Boy Color.
That's when it did it.
Yep, October 98.
Yep, I got
It was
it
released in
Christmas
Japan.
Christmas of '98 when I was 8 years old, and that thing changed my world, Paddy B. So
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I kind of lied. I didn't have I had a Game Boy Color. I don't know. I can't remember how early in the process it was, but like I was able to play like Pokemon on that. And I kind of realized too, right? Like and this is something when looking back on this like question about how did we start gaming, like I feel like and I'm seeing patterns where I would hyper focus on like one game, go like super deep in it, and then just never touch it again. um, and so we'll get into a bit more of that, but like for example, with stuff like Pokemon or like Street Fighter, um, I would just do the one thing, and I don't branch out as often.
It's funny. Hyperfixation is fun.
Yeah.
So what kind of gaming do we vibe with the most? This is interesting because I before I was blind, uh, it was so much in my comfort zone to just like sit on a couch or like a love seat and just have, or in my bed. Like I played most of like Breath of the Wild in my bed before my vision got really bad. But like, I don't know, just something about having the game in your hands and having the whole world just be right in front of you was probably my answer for most of my life. And then the other way is like I always really vibe with like cards in my hands, just like, you know, physically touching cards and like playing with them. And for me, like poker is really fun. Obviously, Magic the Gathering, stuff like that. Like those two, there's something about the thing being in my hands. You know, whether it's a handheld game or physical cards, that's what I've always vied with the most. And it's been interesting the last few years to have to change like that in a lot of ways. You know, I think about things like tabletop RPGs, which you'd think I'd get really into, and they are fun. Like, you know, I enjoy all the times I played D&D. I think the first time I played, I was 12 or 13, and like it's very fun, but it is, I don't know, I don't vibe with it the same way. What about you?
Yeah, I feel very similar about having cards in my hand, right? It's like we talk a lot about Magic the Gathering on here a lot. And so I do feel really at home there. I haven't really had like a proper like board game night in a long time, whether like getting together with friends and playing like board games. Um, but I am actively trying to play some more video games with some of my family and friends online.
That's awesome. I want to go back to the card thing because it's not just Magic for me. I don't know if I ever told the story on the podcast. We went to, my family used to have a timeshare up at East Canyon. It's a reservoir here in Utah when my parents had a boat. And one night, you know, we're all staying up late and they're playing cards. And Canasta is this 2v2 kind of card game that people play. I can tell the rules if you paid me right now off the top of my head. They're like, Spencer, come play with Josh, and I was like, okay. And my brother's like, oh man, Spencer's never played this game. I'm gonna crush. I was like, okay, how does the game work? And I don't remember what happened, but I decided to pick up the entire pile and then play my entire everything out immediately. Because I was like, well, this is a lot of cards. Like, I'm sure I can figure out a win from here. And and we won. And it was the only game I played of Canasta ever. And my brother looks at me, he goes, how did you do that? I was like, what do you mean? He goes, Spencer, I've been playing Canasta with our sister for 10 years. I've never beaten her once.
Oh.
And I was like, Josh, I play card games.
Yes. It's what I do.
That's literally my whole life.
Oh. That's great. I love that.
I literally could not tell you the rules of Canasta today. I learned the rules to play the game. I won, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to bed.
Oh, what is it? Bill Murray's character in Space Jam. Just like the one and done, you know.
Yeah.
Stepped into pro basketball, retired.
Yeah.
That's a game of Canasta.
I want then
No, it's great.
I love that you're saying you're playing like with family and friends because right now like the pandemic really changed gaming for me. I'm just so much more willing to just jump online and not have to be in the same room with somebody anymore. Where like it was really important to me to have to like go be with someone, but like just I'm pretty cozy in my desk, man. Like I don't know.
I must say, yeah, your setup is very nice. So we need to get some playmats on the wall there, but yeah.
My setup is nice.
I mean,
I don't
what
know.
viewers can't see a lot of your setup.
I think it's fine. I don't know. That's very kind of you. I obviously put a lot of effort into making this room functional for like honestly for this. Like if we're gonna be honest, like why does
Yeah.
Spencer's room look the way it looks? And like for the viewers, I don't know if you can hear this, like I can literally pick up my Xbox controller, turn around and play Xbox on a 4K TV. I can play Smash on the TV that's right here that you can't see by picking up my Smash controller, turning and playing Smash. Like I definitely have reasons for the way that this room is set up.
Mm.
What?
No, you're giving me some ideas.
Patty's like, oh, maybe I could vibe differently.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
um,
Hmm.
but yeah, are there ways you wish you gamed more? Like just things that you kind of wish, like whether it be you just mentioned board game nights, like
Yeah. And oddly enough, and we I don't know, we tried to make it happen, but it didn't happen. There was a few like cast members who like said they play Magic, and we created a whole like group chat like for it, but we never ended up doing that. Um I hopefully maybe like now that like we all have free time and we're not like super stressed about like the show, we can, maybe do that. Because I do love those people. But it's the same type of thing where like it's my house always feels kind of like a mess. Like, and I don't know, like not great at hosting. Um, I think it's kind of hard to find those like spaces to do that. Like LGSs are good for like meet up and play in a sense, but like I don't know if that would come with like a group of friends from work, or like what have you to get that group like going to like have a board game night. Um kind of what you mentioned, like just how you're set up to play remotely with people, because the pandemic that changed, everything. So I don't know.
yeah, and for me, I think that if I could do some things more, like it would be like I'd like to play more paper Magic.
Mhm.
I played quite a bit of Magic this weekend. Um, Playing the last chance qualifiers for the when I found out it was Pioneer on Arena, for those who don't know, is the Magic format and a Magic line. I was like, oh, well, I actually have a Pioneer deck that I really love.
Mhm.
Let's bang some out and like, I don't know. I was just thinking like, man, I don't know. I kind of miss going to game days and like traveling. So that's one thing. But I also wish that I had more like dedicated handheld time. Um,
Mm. Mhm.
I've been trying to play more in my bed before I take my contacts out, and I'm excited to see after I get cornea replacement if that helps me be able to play in handheld mode again because I just get so much more gaming in when like my wife can read a book or watch a TV show and I can play in handheld mode next to her. So that's like
Yeah.
pretty big for me. And then kind of the last one is like um I'd love to play Smash more in like tournaments. Even though like I kind of suck, it would be I don't know, just really fun to like go and like meet other Smash players and like I don't know, just capture that competitive scene that I miss from Magic of like I don't know, like the beginning stages of like when you're learning and everything's new and exciting. So
Yeah, for sure. I was talking with a cast member who listens to the podcast, and we were talking about like our backlogs, and I kind of like I got into it a little bit earlier, but like the way that I wish I could game more is just like playing other games and breaking that cycle where like especially right now I'm backlogged with all these huge RPGs, right? So like I started with Witcher 3, did some superhero Witcher, aka Spider-Man. Right now I'm doing Wizard Witcher, right, with the Hogwarts game, and like I still have Red Dead Redemption 2 that I purchased. I've got a lot of these games that I bought on the that I just like. There's this like guilt to play the ones that I've already purchased, and like it's not letting me play like a bunch of other games. So
I don't know. I'm kind of crazy when it comes to my backlog. Like I don't care how long it takes me to finish a game. Like
sure.
it honestly, and in all honesty, like if I'm done with a game, I'm done with a game. Um, I think that the only time that I try not to let that be true is like Star Wars stuff. When I'm like, all right, this story's important to me. I need to like finish this. But like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm like I never finished Skyrim's story. I got bored with Skyrim and I was like, no, this story's too bad. It's not giving me the same love that like Morrowind gave me. Like I don't need to finish this. I've played Skyrim and I've gotten as far as I'm gonna get in this game and I'm done.
Sure. And there's also this other like external pressure of like I have a lot of games on the Xbox, but I would like to play more on my PlayStation. So like finding that balance of
Okay.
like what I know, like for first world problems here.
Yeah, I still have to make my spreadsheet of like games in my house that I like own hard copies of that I haven't complete and like do it because like if I'm gonna own the physical copy, I might as well beat the game.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but it's nice because I have forever to do it. It's not like they're gonna take away those physical copies.
That's true. Physical media, baby.
When gaming now, what is your favorite setup or way to go about it? Like what's the setup like?
So current setup, because you had me looking before earlier, like give me some ideas. Right now I've got my big 4K TV on my desk. I've got this like boom system for my ring light and HD camera for like podcast recording. I've kind of got the consoles like off to the side. Um, right now I'm currently running a super long HDMI cord from the PlayStation over to my wife's computer, or wife's TV that like she's got there. So we kind of got our desks like right next to each other. For when they play, we play Fortnite and stuff, or she can be working there while I'm, doing stuff here. So that's kind of the setup, but I wouldn't hate maybe putting the thought you gave me was like shifting some of the stuff around on this side of me to where I could put the TV over there and maybe have an actual like monitor setup, like a more permanent thing here.
Well, I love that. Like I don't know. For me, I never I don't know. I never saw myself as a desk gamer. Like I was always like a couch gamer for so long, and I was really hesitant. Like I don't know if people have noticed that I've moved houses, and there's no couch behind me anymore. There's literally not a couch in my office anymore, and there are games where I will probably miss that. Um,
Mm.
you know, but I have another Xbox downstairs to play like. Well, so there's nothing stopping me from like physically picking this up and taking this to the basement. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just like I don't know. I think that like my gaming setup now for me is like I don't have the patience for board games as much as I did. Like I
mm-hmm.
think the setup of board games just bugs me too much at this point in my life. I want something that I can just, you know, play,
Start.
yeah, start on. I think honestly it's why I play so much Magic Arena is that it's so easy for me to just get in some games.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that convenience is probably I mean, we just talked about the convenience that I built for myself in this room, right? Like
Yeah.
and I think that that is the way I like to be set up right now. And maybe that's like part of that's being a dad with two kids, but like the other thing is I put my MacBook downstairs, added an account for Maxwell and the family down there, so that even if my kids want me downstairs while they play, I can go play Magic or Fall Guys or something down there while they're watching TV or doing whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it really is a thing of like convenience. That
Being
doesn't
able
mean
to
that I
spread out.
yeah, that doesn't mean that I kept my card table and my chairs. So, if a friend wants to come to my house and jam out some Magic the Gathering games in paper, like I've got the setup to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not as set up for guests as I used to be, where it was really important to me to have a place for a guest to sit, to game with. And like you know what? It's not like I got rid of it. Like you can see that I have that's an extra a very nice gaming chair behind me that is literally
Mm-hmm.
not being used so that when people come over we can game. But I don't know. The convenience is kind of the king for me right now.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like too, at least like my desk chair is nicer than my couch as far as like comfortable like being able to sit in for longer periods of time. So like I don't know, uh, the the technology with gaming chairs and stuff is getting to the point where it's okay to be a desktop like or computer chair gamer because they're just better than couches.
Yeah, I totally feel that. Totally feel that. Uh, you have something in here that you didn't mention. You mentioned audio, and I'm kind of
Oh
curious.
yeah, it's weird. So I don't know, and if someone does know uh what the setting is, for some reason, like I bought these like kind of crappy Turtle Beach headphones for the Xbox because I just wanted to like have something. I found like an old pair of HyperX's that I had for I think like PlayStation 3 that work for the PlayStation 5. Like the headset still works. Um but like for some reason in like Fortnite particularly, like on Xbox I can't join the like audio, which has been really frustrating. I was trying to find like a simple way to do that. Um and I may tinker with like getting an audio mixer and doing a few other things. Um Especially if I do change up the space a little bit. Um but that's been an interesting challenge to tackle with the desks, right next to each other. Is like not having feedback of audio.
Yeah. Is there like another way that like you prefer? We haven't really talked about it, but like I don't know about you, but like I prefer to play like fantasy sports on my phone. I really
Mm-hmm.
hate the desktop apps for the most part. I used to do DraftKings on my computer. That's how I did it for a
Mm-hmm.
couple years for the daily fantasy stuff. But even now, I just prefer my phone.
Yeah. So for fantasy, I still like Sleeper's like desktop interface, but a lot of those like Yahoo, ESPN feel kind of archaic on their regular sites, and like they have pushed a lot into development on the mobile side.
Mm-hmm.
So like that all makes sense. I still like draft on my computer.
Oh, I actually draft on my computer too. I should be
yeah. Just because I think it's easier to like when you have a mouse to like navigate around and go from information to what you're working with.
All right, last question about how
yes.
our favorite ways to game. You're gonna play a TCG. What is the setting? What is the setup? How are we doing it?
TCG?
Mm-hmm.
In paper?
No, it's your way to game, Paddy B. How would you prefer it?
I mean, I'm hopping on Arena. That's I have used, stuff for Magic Online in the past. I've got friends who try and own, a playset of every card on Magic Online, but play every playable card, quote. But yeah, if I try and hit the Magic weeklies because it's fun to like see what people are playing, but I'm also sometimes not set up for like my list is like tuned for a competitive metagame, which those events are not really. So that's an interesting dynamic. But I still like to have things in my hands and play paper Magic. But if I'm playing a TCG, I'm probably hopping on Magic Arena.
Oh yeah, for me, my favorite setup. I roll out my playmat. I get my life pad out. I check my tokens. I open my deck box. I shuffle up. I got some wonderful smelling person across from me, and we're battling it out, baby. And it's for some kind of stakes. Like it's got to be maybe actual stakes. Can we start playing?
Ooh, just like playing for stakes?
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go. Stakes Magic.
Dude, we gotta make a tournament called Playing for Stakes, and then you just win.
Just, you just grill out back, kind of like they did at the Game Grid. Oh, that would be sick.
And then like the winner gets like gift cards to like Texas Roadhouse or something,
or stuff like that. Yeah. That is sick. I'm stealing that idea. I'm gonna pass it to Nick.
No, you can't steal my ideas.
Hey man,
right, Shakespeare.
That was coming.
No, I love it. Just sitting down. It's funny. Like I've played other card games. Like I've played Pokemon TCG a little bit just to like scratch the itch. I've played poker, but like sitting down with cards in my hand, like that's my favorite way to game. I don't even care what the game is. It's the best.
Yeah. When we go to casinos, my wife plays slots and I play blackjack. Just like
give me some blackjack.
Gotta have cards in the hand.
Did I tell you about the time the Irish couple kissed me?
What?
No, I'll tell you that sometime. Anyway, if you want to leave a suggestion in the comments for an episode, do that, whether it's on YouTube or Spotify. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. Don't forget to leave us a review, whether it be Apple, Spotify, wherever you can. It really does help out the show. You can find me at Spencer13H on Blue Sky. He's a game on Twitter. Where can we find you, Paddy B?
They can find me on Blue Sky and Twitter /X at PaddyBMTG.
Like, subscribe, and next week we got a couple options. One is to finally do Indoor Season 2, and one is to have a guest on. So we'll figure that out, and we'll see you all next week with a brand new episode of the Need to Nerd podcast.